went to.
So I didn't look at any penis.
There's only so much room in Tom's heart for outlaw triple shit. There's a quota.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
I have one too.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
Good. Pittsburgh up in here.
What's up, fellas?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That's actually where I live. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh. I work in Pittsburgh.
You do. Gotta let Penny out because, of course, she hears the music and it's time to go. Peen Joe. Bye, Penny.
Bye, Penny. Thanks for being here.
Bye, Penny. Thanks for tuning in.
Gentlemen, how we doing today?
Amazing, actually. Really well. Fine.
Yeah, fine.
I feel good. Kids chose violence today, all of them. But it's fine.
It happens.
It
does happen.
was a rainy day. It happened.
Like I said beforehand, I'm pretty sure that my 2-year-old squared me up today, but we won't get into that.
I think he could have taken you.
I mean, I'm a large human being, and he's just such a small little guy.
But is he quick? I don't know if he's quick. I haven't met him.
Yeah, he's actually pretty quick.
Yeah, he gets just. Oh, you ever see Mickey in the Beanstalk?
Yeah.
That's what it'd be like. Oh,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
He's eventually going to grow up to take you, and it'll be hilarious.
I doubt that.
Oh, it'll happen.
Yeah, you thought that about yourself one day too, and how'd that work out?
Still waiting.
One day, Derek was
still waiting.
I want to point out that Walt has lied to me for the past year, and keeps telling me now. Derek's like he's real little, like he's a small person. Like you'll never. It's like he's not a big guy at all. He like walks in like he's the most normal sized person I've ever seen.
So I mean, we went to AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday in Pittsburgh, and I guess we're gonna get into that here in a couple of minutes. But so I sold Tom because I met Tom and Derek for dinner beforehand, and
it was delicious, by the way.
Hey, I'm glad to hear that. And Derek was running a little bit late, as he tends to do, because that's just the type of human being that he is.
There was construction. This one was not my fault.
It's just who he is as a person.
Yeah. So I'm selling it hard. I was like, man, you're not even going to see him walk in. The doors are just going to open, and then you're not even going to be able to see him. Like,
yeah, he was like, the doors are going to open. You're going to see the door open. You're not going to see a head over the little stand there. And like you'll see him come around the corner, but you'll just see his head pop up behind the bar. He's a little taller than the bar. That's what Walt said to me. Now, and let's put this into perspective. For the last year, we've been doing this podcast, and Walt has continuously sold that you're not a big. You're just a little guy. He calls you Pee Wee every time, all the time, and it just continuously sells that you are not a big guy.
He really should have put a booster seat on the bar stool. That would have made it even better.
It would have.
Man,
it really
missed opportunity.
Swing and a miss there. But he walks in and I'm like, he's totally normal size. He's not even a little bit short. He's just like his average size can get. And yeah,
I'm just 5'8" and normal.
Yeah,
Walt's a liar.
He is.
I had a lot of fun over the last year. Really
so
driving that home.
Well, the secret's out. I'm normal sized.
As many times as I said, I'm sure he looks normal size. I'm sure he's normal size. You'd be like, nope. You'd like double down on it.
Yeah,
but
you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, pal. And speaking of doing what you gotta do sometimes, how about our guy, the limitless one, Mr. Keith Lee, kind of doing what he felt that he needed to do and getting.
I'm glad he finally came out and said something. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's kind of a private guy and didn't want to like put it out there. Do you want to say what happened? You want me to do it?
No, go ahead. I mean,
all right. So basically, I mean, in a nutshell, what Keith Lee said is that he was on a show, and 2 days later he tested positive for COVID or something. Or 3 days, a couple days later, he tested positive for COVID, and he was sick. Mia Yim voluntarily would not leave him and stayed to take care of him. From his own mouth, he says he's not sure what would have happened had she not, because she was a godsend for that. And good on her for taking care of the one she loves. She also got COVID, so she also got sick, but she apparently didn't get sick as bad. But so that happened. So he got sick. He got COVID. It was rough. He was super sick with it. He was out with 3-4 weeks or something, and then he came back and wrestled one match. Immediately after that, my wife's handing me beer. Thanks, babe.
Hey,
immediately.
Yo, that's what I'm talking about.
Right?
That's love.
That is love. But so immediately after that, he wrestled one match in February, I think, and then the doctor called him the next day and says, "Hey, something with his blood work ain't right." And so they went and they checked his heart and everything, and they were like, "Yeah, so if you do strenuous activity, you could just pass away." That's what he said. You could just pass away. So the man could literally not do anything other than maybe take a little walk. For he was not allowed to, or he could have legitimately died. And eventually that got better, and that got better. But it was months. There was months there, where him wrestling could have killed him. It was that post-COVID, where your heart gets inflamed, like an inflammation. And I mean, this shit's no joke, man. It could have taken out the Limitless one. I mean, and you look at a dude like Keith Lee, and it's like, man, what could take this guy out? Oh, okay, a virus. The virus could take him out. So yeah, this is no joke. This almost took out the Limitless one, and I'm real glad it didn't, because I'm a huge Keith Lee fan. But good Lord,
It's crazy. It's wild.
What a story.
And
right?
It's like like a lot of times, some of these more famous type folks that end up with COVID and stuff, you always hear like they seem to be having all these weird complications post, I mean, you look at the sudden passing of Brody Lee, and everybody was like, oh, that's COVID. That's COVID. Got to be COVID. Got to be COVID. And it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
But then you get somebody like Keith Lee, where you don't hear anything about him getting COVID, and we were never kind of clued into that or anything.
We were only clued in when Drew McIntyre got it.
Yeah, and to me that seemed very scripted.
Right.
And that's just my opinion, but regardless, like it's weird that there's just still so much that we don't know. And this inflammation of the heart that could have killed Keith Lee, man, that's just some wild stuff.
That's terrifying.
It absolutely terrifying.
That's terrifying.
Absolutely.
That's horrifying. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad Keith Lee's back, and seeing him back in the ring now is just like, I mean, especially after now hearing that, it's like, it's kind of a relief. I mean, I know he's just been kind of getting 50-50 booked, but still, like, just to see him back in the ring, and I mean, he's got to get back in shape. I mean, he literally couldn't do anything but like maybe take little walks for.
Yeah, man,
months.
I couldn't imagine being out of the gym for months, being out of the wrestling ring for months, and then all of a sudden you got to come back and get your sea legs back on television. So, not an envious position to be left in.
No, so yeah, I mean, as much as I'd love to see him in a title picture right away, and like, Grizzly Magnum and some dudes, I don't see it coming.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. But best recovery to him, and I'm glad to see him on TV. He might be on TV tonight. He probably is. But we're here recording, so
yeah. Well, as we tend to do, because it's not like any of us watch Raw, anyways.
Well, I'll watch it later.
Yeah, I mean, I watch it later, but
way better.
You can
watch it in 40 minutes.
It's so much better when you can fast forward.
So
kind of felt the same way about SmackDown this week, though, too.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a hot second, but
sure.
So speaking of people missing television time, this isn't necessarily missing TV time, but Friday, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks had their little in-ring contract signing little segment, which included Zelina Vega and Carmella for some reason, which, like, I don't know what that's all about. These are the 4 top women going after the top prize on SmackDown, and now, like, all of a sudden Sasha Banks has a little stable. I mean, I don't know what that's all about.
I don't know. I kind of liked it when she brought back up. I was sort of into that.
It was interesting. I mean, I giggled, but like that's not the issue, right? So I guess Saturday and Sunday they were scheduled to appear because they're probably working out some of their spots, checking crowd reactions and stuff at the house shows, and they were advertised for the shows on Saturday and Sunday, and then when it came time for their match, they were announced that they were not there due to unforeseen circumstances. And that happened on Saturday night. Nobody thought too much about it. But then when it happened last night on Sunday night, it kind of got the dirt sheets a buzzing. And now there's a lot of speculation that they may miss SummerSlam.
There's no doubt in my mind that they probably tested positive for COVID.
That can be the only thing, right? I mean,
there's no way they both got hurt.
One of them tested positive, and they've spent so much time together that maybe they're just quarantining the other for safety reasons. And
I mean, I would hope for their sakes. I'm sure they're probably both vaccinated at this point. But breakthrough contracting can occur. I hope they're not sick. I hope they are vaccinated, and I hope that it's just precautionary. I mean, obviously, you don't want to walk out two people with who may or may not have tested positive for COVID, whether they're vaccinated or not,
right,
and have them in an arena where they're putting on a athletic event. Because they couldn't wrestle in. I mean, I suppose luchadors wrestle in masks, but when you can have them wrestle in like face masks, I'm like, I mean, it's not. It's
not a good look to it. If they were to do that.
I mean, they could just bring them out in like ninja masks and just have the.
But we all know that COVID doesn't exist in Vinnie Mac's television world, so
no.
I don't know, man. It's just it's an interesting little wrinkle, and I hope that it's not COVID, and I hope that it's not serious, and maybe they just took a couple days off, and you know what I'm saying, and
maybe somebody tweaked an ankle or something, and they're just trying to get that all rested up before the big show here in 5 days.
Could be a number of things, but I mean, the world we live in now, pretty much everything is it's good.
And unfortunately, I'm going to say we're probably not going to know what's going on until at least Friday, right? I mean, they're not going to make an announcement pertaining to that tonight on Monday Night Raw because it doesn't make any sense for the Raw product, No. And as far as the billing on SummerSlam and stuff like that, if there's uncertainty, like I'm sure they're not trying to, to flub up their card and their promotion and all that stuff. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this gets handled. And to hear the details of what is going on here in the coming days as we lead up to SummerSlam on Saturday.
I bet we don't know what happens until Friday, until like the pre-show. Like I bet we find out on the pre-show.
That could happen too, and it's weird because SummerSlam's on Saturday this year and they're putting TakeOver on Sunday, which is interesting, especially considering all of the controversy that's been surrounding NXT in the last couple of weeks.
It's weird, fellas. It's really weird. Like, whenever I realized that, it's like, what is going on?
I did watch NXT.
They do that?
I watched the Hulu version of NXT this week, which is only an hour. And generally,
NXT's on Hulu too.
Yeah, and it's only an hour show. But generally, I don't do that unless I'm really, really far behind.
I didn't even know it was a thing
on catching up for the week, and because generally I enjoy the NXT product, right?
Yeah, I mean, lately it's been
Tuesday was very disconnected, man.
It was like it didn't build. Like it was all kind of guys you never see on TV, and I mean there were a couple promos and things, but man, are they like? It feels like a product that's hurt. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it doesn't feel exciting. They feel sad, and I'm like. Just watching it was just like almost kind of sad to do, and it's like, man, this. I brought it up, I think, last week, and I'm like, this kind of makes me not really want to watch wrestling at all.
Yeah, you did say that last week.
It's so I don't know. I hope this is just the the calm before the storm. and NXT comes back to its glory, because it hasn't been, probably for about 6 months, it hasn't been as electric as it once was, as must-see TV as it once was. I mean, that's not necessarily their fault. I know they had injuries, they had this, that, and the other. I just wasn't as into what was going on. And, I think the storylines were good, but they finished up, and then they just didn't have as good of storylines to pick up where the last ones left off. And I don't know. I'm disappointed, obviously, that NXT has fallen as far from grace as it has. But we'll see what happens, I guess, going forward. But as far as the COVID thing is concerned, yeah, I mean, how much longer is this going to be a plague on our, no pun intended, a plague on our existence?
I really thought we were turning the corner on this, man. Like, and now all of a sudden the Delta variant is kind of just smacking everybody in the face here.
It's hitting kids and stuff, and it's like, fuck.
It's wild. Somebody had asked me the other day at work. It was like, hey man, like, we were just talking about some things, and some discussions that are being had, at the higher levels. And one of the things that we're talking about is maybe, just modeling mask usages, for safe work environment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the staff members, and they were like, hey man, like, is it just me, or did like the flu just like disappear? Like,
well, it definitely did. I haven't had the flu either. And I really think that the masks really, like, I don't know how much they help with the Delta variant, but man, they sure seem to eliminate the flu. So, I mean, I don't know. From a guy who used to get the flu twice a year, every year, I haven't had it in 2 years now. So
it's a nice side effect.
Knock on wood, I guess, right?
Nice side effect.
Yeah.
So
it's really uncomfortable, and my glasses get all sweaty. But you know what? I haven't had the flu in 2 years. So
yeah, that's the absolute worst. Hey, really, Derek. So what do you think about this whole Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks thing? You think that there's where there's smoke, there's fire? Is that what we're looking at here, or you think this is something else?
And to be honest with you, fellas, I don't see them unless they are physically in bed on their deathbeds, unable to come out there. I don't see them. I really don't. And I know that sounds terrible, but even if they're positive, I could see Vinnie Mac trying to get him out there, man.
So.
I don't know, man. I know you always in our text messages and stuff like, man, no, you shut down my crazy conspiracy theories quite a bit, but telling you, Vince doesn't care. Vince has his own mind made up about things.
See, I think he cares.
If
and
he
I
has
think
the
level of
liability
too. I think you turn SummerSlam into a super spreader event. They know the exact billionaire they're going to sue.
Yep,
it's already going to be a super spreader event anyway.
I mean, maybe.
They are saying that it's going to be the largest event that anybody has had since the COVID era. So
they did that with WrestleMania too, though.
Yeah, but this is going to be at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, and they're going to have it packed to the gills.
Yeah.
So and that is a big ass stadium.
It is a big.
One question: is it outside? Is it going to be outside? Like, does it have a top on it or what?
It has a top, but I think it's got a retractable roof.
Yeah, I think it will be retracted. I think that's usually the SummerSlam thing, is that like they're usually in kind of a big open space. So I do think it'll be open. I don't know. I know that was a great mitigating factor for the non-Delta variants of COVID. I'm not a doctor. I can't stress that enough, that I am not a medical professional by any stretch of anybody's imagination.
You have something hanging on your wall that says DMD.
No, it's actually in an envelope in my basement. No, it doesn't say DMD. It says it says JD, Juris Doctor. It's a little different.
I was referring to the towel behind.
Oh, the towel, yeah. DMD. Well, I wouldn't take virus protocol from your dentist either. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just
that's fair.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
I mean, I like my dentist, but I wouldn't ask him if I should get the COVID shot. He's not the guy. I do like him, and he probably
why not? Derek asked me if he should get the COVID shot.
I do.
What you got?
Why not? I did get it.
I mean, you should ask your doc. You should ask your doctor. I mean, really, ask. Don't listen to people on the internet. Go to the guy who's going to tell you, well, your cholesterol's high, and I want to put you on the Lipitor. You ask that guy if you should get the COVID shot, right? You ask the guy who has a vested interest in you staying alive, whether or not you should get it. Because you know what? Some of them might tell you, no, don't get it. You're at risk for this, that, and the other thing if you get it. And fucking other people get it. Just stay at home and wear a mask.
Yeah.
Or, he could say, yes, you moron, go get it now. How do you not have it yet? What the fuck is wrong with you? Ask your doctor. I'm not your doctor. Walt's not your doctor. Britt Baker's not your doctor. Although that'd be really sweet if she was, wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Yeah. Derek's not the doctor either.
Derek.
I am guessing the doctor's going to ring me a new asshole tomorrow because I actually do go to my doctor tomorrow. But it's never fun going to exactly. So I see you've lost no weight and your blood pressure is still high, and
Yeah, but you just say, "Hey, doc, but I'm doing a podcast now. It's therapy.
It's therapy.
Yeah,
I'm going to therapy.
It's fine. You should check my blood pressure. Well, I don't know. After some of the plugs, you should probably not check my blood pressure. But after some of them, it is relaxing. After some of them, it's a little more tense at times.
Sometimes.
Really, I always feel very relaxed at the end of these.
It's because it's usually Derek's fault. That's why, buddy.
Yeah.
So, since we kind of started to fall down the NXT rabbit hole a little bit, I kind of want to talk about something that has been brought to light by our buddy, Mr. Dave Meltzer, this week. Now, obviously, this is coming from Dave, and you have to take this information with a grain of salt, right? But apparently, what happened was there is rumor within WWE as an organization that Triple H is in a little bit of hot water because he didn't necessarily win the Wednesday Night Wars and that he couldn't outperform AEW. And there are people that have positioned themselves against him and have kind of sabotaged him and his ability to continue to move forward with NXT as the product that we've come to know and love. Now, obviously, last week we talked about how NXT is, as we know it and love it and respect it, is dead, right? And I think we got a little bit of that on Tuesday. We got to look at that on Tuesday. And I think post TakeOver 36, we're going to get a whole different kind of feel to what NXT is going to be because allegedly they're moving to taping NXT now and then just
I saw that
putting it on USA, which apparently has pissed USA off, which I would imagine was probably the play, right? If you're trying to sabotage Triple H and everything that he's done for NXT, you piss off the network, they're going to give him the old dirty boot, right?
Yeah.
So the gist of this whole conversation that Dave had was that there are people that were fearful of their jobs and their livelihoods if Triple H were to ever come into power, who tend to have an audience with Vince McMahon. And if Triple H were to ever take over WWE, these individuals feel that they would cease to have careers.
And they would. Absolutely.
Guaranteed. So if they're concerned about it. So apparently these are the same group of folks that have, kind of put the bug in Vince's ear that Triple H has failed WWE as a brand by not being able to compete against the upstart AEW and not being able to put ratings on, put the ratings up against AEW to make the NXT product as a standalone and look better. And that's why the move has come to release a bunch of his, prized talents and, kind of hit the reset button and turn NXT back into developmental. Now, apparently, the whole thing that has been said was it's largely based on what was said to be a new company directive for the product and a behind-the-scenes power struggle involving those who fear for their positions if and when Levesque takes over and thus want to undermine him and those who support Levesque. So And then it goes on to say it was reported that Vince wants to completely rebrand NXT from a show heavily reliant on smaller yet more experienced superstars. It will now focus on bigger and younger talent. Vince McMahon's undercutting of Triple H has come as a surprise to many, as it believed that Triple H will look into the wrestling aspect of WWE while Nick Khan manages the business end of the company in the future. So, we're seeing it kind of unfold right in the public eye, and I don't necessarily know that this is something new in the wrestling space. I don't necessarily know that this is something new in the grand scheme of business in general. But if this is what is happening behind the scenes, I've got to feel that this is a negative for WWE in every way, shape, or form.
If it is, this is the death of WWE. I mean, not immediately, but this is God. If you're Triple H, you just you play your cards out, and he's not a nice guy. Like, not nice is right. He's not. He can be a son of a bitch, I think, and I think that he's shown himself to be a shrewd businessman, and maybe even a little bit vindictive as a person. So, and I don't know what Stephanie plays into this with, but I mean that he's clearly her husband, the father of her children, and Vince is an old man. I don't necessarily think that Triple H is going to have any bad feelings towards Vince, particularly. But how much longer is Vince going to be around? Let's be serious. I know we've said this before, but it's not. It's he's in his 70s. He was before. He was not in. As it gets longer and long as he doesn't sleep at night. You hear that all the time. How much longer can he go on like this? Maybe 5 years. Let's say maybe 5. Let's say 5 more years. Right. Max into his 80s, and at which point, Vince retires or dies or whatever happens. And I think if you're Triple H, you can immediately leave, find investors, backers, and you've made all these contacts, all these people these people with millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Shit, you're friends with The Rock and John Cena. You telling me The Rock and John Cena wouldn't be like, yeah, let's start a wrestling company and make it good.
Yeah.
Just something like that. I'm just, in the back of my mind, it's like, why couldn't Triple H do what Tony Khan is doing and run it his way in a way that like Triple H has the locker rooms. He has, all that stuff, or who's to say he couldn't join and be a partner with AEW and make it the biggest brand in the world? I mean, I feel like there's danger in poking the guy who's clearly the number 2, because when the number 1 goes down or retires, if the number 2 is mad at you, 1, he's going to fire you anyway, or 2, if you have tried to undermine him and that worked, he's going to ruin your company from the inside or from the outside. And I just don't think that, I don't know what their goals are or whatever. And if it's it's not to say that like, oh my God, WWE is this amazing product that deserves to live on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Amen. Like it's got its flashes.
No, it says in the opening, it's forever.
Well,
it's said that for years.
They could be jeopardizing that forever. With this, and that would be my thought on this. As far as whether or not there's a power, I'm sure there is. There's no doubt in my mind there are people who Triple H has probably looked at and said and seen in meetings, and he's a big, intimidating guy. If you're this scrawny little pencil neck, and Paul Levesque gets in your face and says, "What you just did in there, I'm gonna kill you," or whatever, however he conducts his own business, right? Like, I can't imagine not being like, well, crap, when this guy takes over, all of us fun Hollywood writers are fired. He's going to make this back to what wrestling used to be. And there's going to be a booking committee, and it's going to be made up of wrestlers, like when Triple H was on the friggin' booking committee during the Attitude Era. Sitting there with Jim Cornette and and Bruce Pritchard and some other some
Bro.
other wrestlers. And yeah. Anyway.
Anytime I bring up Russo, Tom's just like, "Yep, cool."
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, some of the Russo stuff worked out pretty good in WWE because I feel like they had a filter on it. Like there was a
filter was Vince McMahon.
Yeah, Vince McMahon was the filter on it. When they just put him in charge of WCW, and there was no filter, and it was like
bad.
It's stupid idea after stupid idea. It's like Vince McMahon has the ability to like polish turds, and at least he was like being fed like kind of exciting turds, right?
Yeah.
But, like Vince would like water them down and like make them palatable turds. But in WCW, they were just like straight up open ass shitting into the fans' eyes. It was terrible.
It was bad. Derek, what do you think about this whole thing, this whole rumor about the power struggle?
Pretty much, fellas, it's all bad. And we covered a lot here. So let's start back with the network issues. USA signed up for a certain deal. They signed up for live NXT tape television and moved it from 1 hour to 2 hours. Right. Obviously, that's all where it went downhill, at least for me. You moved it from 1 hour to 2 hours. We've all seen that whenever it was just exclusively on the network, it was a quick 1 hour, fast paced, all good,
no
primary shit,
Yeah,
no bloatedness.
Let me just interrupt you there real quick though too, pal. So like with the hour on the network, we were getting 1 week that was stellar, and we were getting a second week which was developmental, and then we were getting a good week and a developmental week, a good week and a developmental week. When we moved to that 2 hour format, we got a complete show. So we got to see a lot of those top tier NXT talents every single week, as well as those talents that we were trying to build and develop. So for me, the 2 hour program for NXT is the sweet spot.
Okay, well that's fair. Well, let's just let them have the 2 hour show.
I think
even in that case, the man was set to fail from the beginning. How are you gonna? For one, you're an already established brand, which in the eyes of many people is tired and redundant and the same thing over and over. We're sick of it. We wanted something different. We wanted change. And now when AEW came out at first, there was some wacky booking. There was some terrible shit going on. There was some good stuff.
There might be a little bit of wacky booking and terrible shit.
A little bit of wacky booking.
Okay, but listen,
not as bad.
Bro, your boy Enzo even was on Busted Open last week and said that NXT was the original alternative product to what WWE was trying to offer. And I mean, if you disagree with him, pal, I don't know what. I've never heard truer words spoken in my life. Like NXT was good because it was different.
Yeah, and that's fine, but they had no buzz. There was no buzz on NXT whenever this AEW thing happened. And then they wanted to move NXT from the network to television to then compete with a rival brand. So there was no one set up Wednesday night, had their DVRs set for 8 o'clock to tape NXT. Because that wasn't a thing until AEW started at the exact same time. I think there was 1 week.
It was 1 week. NXT was
there was one
started a week before AEW did.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
But NXT was also established on the network on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. So anybody that is a hardcore fan knew that NXT was a Wednesday night product.
Yes, but and I'm gonna, gosh, and this is I feel like where streaming services versus, because we're talking about network TV versus streaming, and I feel like we've really jumped into a different era with that, because did I love NXT for that hour on the network? Absolutely. But at the same time, did I watch it 8 o'clock on Wednesday? No, I didn't watch it. I mean, sometimes, yeah, if it was something exciting that I really wanted to see that had been built up for a long time, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. The climax of a feud that had been building for 3 or 4 weeks, absolutely I did. But general humdrum whatever, did I always watch? No, I would watch it on Thursday, like at 4 o'clock while I was cooking dinner, or I would watch it at, Saturday morning or something like that. Cause it's not like I was going to miss anything between Wednesday and Saturday or whatever.
Exactly. And you've already got established routines for your television watching time.
Yeah. So, I mean, so if I watched it on Saturday morning and had a great time, like that is to this day and was always one of my favorite things to do is get up on Saturday morning, not have shit to do, chill out on my couch in my living room and just watch some wrestling for a little bit. And it's a good time. And it really, you drink some coffee, watch some wrestling. The kids come in, watch some wrestling, and it's great. But I mean, I'm not doing WWE any favors by not watching NXT on a Wednesday. Clearly, like the fact that I watched it eventually before the next episode doesn't count. Anything.
Yeah,
it doesn't count.
You're not gonna sit here and you're not gonna tell me that there's not a metric for streaming these days, right? So like, we come in here and we talk about ratings an awful lot, and and Tom, you always say that it's you get the rating for the week before, but upon a little bit of investigation this week, because I knew I was going to have this conversation, that's not the case in 2021, right? So now you're actually garnering your rating for that day, but there's also a +3 rating, a +5, and a +7. So that's if it's to be consumed on any DVR, any streaming platform, or anything like that. So like Hulu, the network, Peacock, all that stuff, right? Any on-demand stuff like on your AT&T app, if or your Comcast, whatever. So there's a metric for that now, but that shit's never included, right? So they want the live number, which to me makes 0 sense, because we live in a different time than we did in the 90s during the Attitude Era.
Sure.
Whenever 7 and 8 million people were sitting down every Monday night to watch wrestling for whatever respective brand they decided to watch on that given day.
Because if you missed it, you missed it. There wasn't a replay. I mean, if there was a replay, it was 2 a.m, like 4 days later, and it was you missed it. And like, and I know for us, like, I mean, I went to school the next day and talked to my friends about it. If I saw you, I talked to you about it. Like, if we were like, if we had a soccer game, be like, did you watch Raw the other day? Fuck yeah, I did. Did you see the Undertaker come out here almost crucified still? Holy shit, right? And that was the thing. Like, it was like you talked to your friends about it. Shit, there were times like I would be watching it when AOL Instant Messenger first came out. Like, I would drag. I had a really long. I went to Radio Shack and bought a really long phone wire because my mom had a laptop for work that had a modem built into it, and I would plug it into our little modem, and I would plug the phone line into the little laptop, and I would sit there and chat with my friends on AOL Instant Messenger about. That's how I learned how to type. Truth be told. Chatting about wrestling on AOL Instant Messenger with my friends while I was whatever.
The original One Fall WrestleCast.
Yes, it was the original, exactly. And so that's the long and short of it, right? So like but you had to, because if you didn't watch it, your friends were going to talk about it the next day, and you saw. But now it's like I'm a 35-year-old man. Like do I see my friends? Yeah, sure. Do all of them watch wrestling? No. I talk to you guys, but like we are kind enough to ask each other, hey, have you watched this yet? Okay, I won't spoil it. And that's it, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's the kind of and I have a guy at my beer store who we talk wrestling while I buy beer. Cheers to him. But it's just not the same, right? Yeah. Like it's not the same.
It's a whole different environment. And also I know you guys were bringing up starting another company. Eventually, guys, there's gonna be too thin of talent. We're gonna be stretching ourselves way too thin.
Nah, man, because WWE is gonna drive themselves right out of business, pal.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's gonna be plenty but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of public money.
Hey, public companies fail every day, pal. All right,
now
and
could happen.
I mean, you're talking about a public company that is built on the premise of episodic television, and when episodic television is shit, people stop watching.
Yep.
There's no good reason to watch Raw. Like I looked at the card of what's on Raw tonight. It's more of the same. Like I'm interested in what Randy's going to fight Almost, which is not going to be a good match, but there'll be a good storyline around it because I'm sure Riddle will be involved in it and AJ will be involved in it. And
that sounds terrible. If I was on the fence about watching it, that would be a hard.
That wouldn't force me to watch. I might watch that clip on YouTube because their YouTube editors are fantastic. I don't know if you know this. Their YouTube editors are the best in the business. They actually have the biggest sports channel on YouTube because it's got like
80 million, I think, is the
80
number.
million subscribers or something. It's insanity because they're not coming close to 5 million views, but there's 80 million viewers on YouTube. 80 million people have that in their YouTube feeds. Yep. It's insanity.
However, our page is not one of those subscribers.
It's not?
Nope. I'm not.
Okay. Well, maybe WWE should subscribe to us first.
Yeah, that'd be swell. Follow for follow, pal.
Yeah, that's how that works.
So, I don't know, man. Let's put a bow on this NXT shit. But like, I think that with everything going on, the only people that are losing here is wrestling fans.
Right. I feel like I lost so hard.
And politics, business politics coming between the fans and a fan product, I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yep.
I really do.
We know that Triple H has been in the doghouse before, boys, and he worked his way out, and I can see it happening again. I wouldn't doubt him.
I still do think that he's going to end up with WWE, and I think all those people are going to get fired. And I think it's going to be all right.
So I want to go ahead, and I'm just gonna let's climb into this. You want to talk about fan experience, okay? Let's talk about Wednesday night and Dynamite. Okay, obviously we went to the Dynamite show here in Pittsburgh. Man, what a great show.
Dude, I marked the fuck out.
It was a really good time. I don't know that. So I think, Walt, one of the things I said to you was AEW really needs to convey on TV how much fun it actually is to be there. Because, I mean, I'm going to be honest, content-wise, like, it was good. Like, there's a lot of content because they give you all the YouTube stuff, too. And, like, Justin Roberts, man, I mean, I don't know. Say what you want about his ability to be a ring announcer. Sometimes it's annoying.
Yeah,
as far as being the ring leader of, like, I've been to plenty of wrestling shows. I've never seen an announcer do what he did. Like,
I mean, he spent at least 15 minutes in the ring, just like reading signs and like hyping people up. I mean, hell, we sang happy birthday to a little 5-year-old girl.
Right.
Then that's all because of Justin Roberts, man.
Yeah. I mean, he kept the crowd engaged during commercial breaks, during segment breaks, before, between their tapings for the YouTube stuff and and Dynamite going live. And, I mean, you want to talk about I mean, he's a ring announcer, but the man was a ring leader. Like, he really, 100%. He really controlled the flow of the show, the countdowns. Obviously, crowds love countdowns, right? 3, 2, like, people love that stuff. And he really just like controlled the show. And it was one of the most organized, from a fan perspective, one of the most organized and just satisfying. That to me is somebody who's very OCD about stuff. That to me was very satisfying to watch. It's like I felt like it was properly segmented, and then everything felt controlled, and then everything was in very like good hands. Like it was all being run very smoothly, and it went really smoothly. It was a smooth show. So I mean, I really, I don't know that comes off on TV as well as it does in person. Because in person, it's the most organized and smooth and sort of enjoyable, smooth and enjoyable in a way that WWE live shows are not. I don't want to say they're disjointed, they're not, but it's sort of a surprise. You have no idea what's happening, right? And like that probably worked back in the day when like, oh my God, when Stone Cold came out and everybody was shocked as hell, like it was that shocking pop, right? but like for for a show that's sort of a standard, I don't know, call it humdrum, but your standard Wednesday night or Monday night or whatever fare, where it's like, well, next is this match between Darby Allin and this guy that you've seen 3 times. They kept the flow going.
And that's like always kind of been, yours and mine's criticism, right? It's like you start really, really high, and then you just you fall into this lull, and sometimes you come out of it, and sometimes you don't. And I think being there live and live, I felt that, right? Like you felt that lull, and it's like, Darby definitely had one of the biggest crowd pops of the night, but the match in the ring was just like, eh. I mean, I was excited to see Sting in person. I'd never seen Sting in person.
Right, me neither, actually.
Get a chance to see Sting, live.
And the fact that he got a little physical after the fact was great.
Yeah, it was
big pop for that.
Just it was icing on the cake. Derek, I know that you're very high on the AEW product, and you look like Marcosaurus Rex up there. And let's not forget that Derek, all right, spent like $6 million on gimmicks at the show.
I bought all the stuff.
Tom and I both shelled out $15 for the Britt Baker terrible towel, and like I showed somebody the segment, the Britt Baker segment, because who's a listener of the show at work. And he was like, "Oh, that's really cool. They gave out those towels." I was like, "No, bro.
No, we bought those.
We bought those towels." He was
those are $15.
He was like, "Really?" He's like, "Man, everybody bought one." I said that was the most genius marketing strategy in professional wrestling.
They made $1 million in towels.
Yep,
definitely,
easily.
Everybody had
they,
one.
They sold us $1 million in towels, probably between Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah,
they sold $1 million in towels.
So, like, Derek, like, the AEW is your shit, pal. Like, what did you think the fan experience was like at Dynamite?
Honestly, I got way more than I expected. It was a much more intimate experience than I expected. Because you're right there. Like, it felt like you're right on top of everything that's going on. And the heat from the fireworks, the pyro, everything, the crowd. I think that was the best part of it. Is just I don't want to say that there's like a brotherly love type thing going on, but you're all there for one purpose. And for that few hours that you're all there, it's everybody here's a wrestling fan. It's cool. Well, you're going to get some pops out of people. You can yell funny shit if you want to.
And we did.
Everybody's rules.
The He's a Lobster thing was fantastic. It did not make it to TV.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched the show back yet on TV. I did watch a couple of segments back.
Oh man, I watched that twice.
I watched it. I watched a couple
on there. I watched it.
I watched a couple of segments back. Just be like specifically like when Britt Baker was in the ring cutting her little promo. God, did we as a crowd come through?
I was going to say I watched that because I have no idea what she said.
Yeah, we were just we were just full on Mark mode, pal.
It was so loud in that building. I have no idea what she said. I had to watch it to understand what was going on.
And it translated as a crowd. It translated.
Yeah, that roar was incredible. Like Tony, they were yelling. Like Tony and Britt were like they had to yell to like, and they were mic'd up. Like they had a mic. Like they had to yell. No, so that was exciting. And they, obviously we all bought the towel. But no, they played that perfectly because she still healed it up, but like she didn't heal it up to Pittsburgh. Like obviously it was like, well, Pittsburgh gets it, but I'm still the bad guy and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But because we were like, no, this is our hometown hero. And, she could stab a guy in front of us, but as long as that guy wasn't from Pittsburgh, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to like watch the like, she was still healing it up, but like it was in such like a baby face way. You know what I'm saying? Like she kept her heat elsewhere, but like you can't help but respect what Dr. Britt has done and has accomplished in the last year. And I know that, the episode that Derek face planted on his couch and fell asleep, and Tom and I, gushed over Dr. Britt for an hour and 40 minutes. We covered a lot of this, but she's really come into her own as a performer in the ring, as well as like her verbal skills, and to bring that total package to her hometown across 2 nights, 3 if you count Sunday at Steel City Con, which I heard her line was just wrapped around the convention center. We were going to take the family up, but we ended up going to the amusement park instead.
You just stood in line for the whole day.
I would have 100%.
The amusement park. You stood in less line in the amusement park.
Yes,
that's true. Yeah,
but the thing that I took away from the whole thing, and is, and I say this because we vlogged the trip. So if you guys want to go check out our experience, our AEW experience, please head on over to the YouTube channel and take a look at the AEW Dynamite.
It's up there.
Video. It's there
for sure.
And I think it kind of captured our night fairly well.
It did.
We had a really, really good time. And, and I say this in the video as somebody that is fairly critical of the AEW product. I had a blast. And the thing that I think can't go understated, we had this conversation as we were coming through the tunnel. We were talking about the arena. And, we were talking about how when WWE comes to Pittsburgh, they go to PPG Paints, and AEW comes to Pittsburgh and they're going to the Peterson Event Center, and how like things are different. And, and we were talking, I had made the comment in the car that, some comedians and some bands like to play smaller venues because it gives a more intimate feel to the show. And I really feel like that's what AEW is trying to do. And the fact that they jammed all of us into the Peterson Event Center from floor to ceiling, and to just be right there. Cause we had great seats, and
we would have been where the hard cam would be. It was weird that they had where the hard cam was flipped, but we were staring at the hard cam. It was on the other side and exactly where we were sitting. We could have been sitting on Mark Madden's lap, and we wouldn't have had that's not a better seat. No. We were elevated a bit, and we saw everything. You couldn't miss a thing. It was like we were watching on TV, but in the arena, we had that good of seats.
And like you said, we didn't have to listen to Excalibur, which was a plus.
We did not have to listen to Excalibur, which was.
To be honest, there was a couple spots while we were actually there that I was like, "Ooh, that didn't look very good." But then whenever you watch it back on television, it's like, oh, the way they cut that's not that bad. Yeah. So our seats were, almost like a scouting position to where I could just judge the shit out of you.
Yeah, we could totally see there was it's going to be on Dark or whatever, but Sammy botched something incredibly, and he was just like, wait. And he did it again. Yeah. It was like that's going to get edited out, but we saw it live.
Yep. And to kind of close this out, if I have any input or suggestions for Tony Khan and the folks at AEW, don't change a fucking thing with how you present your in arena product.
No.
Because man, what a great experience from a fan perspective.
The experience is 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, Ty Dillinger style. And that's another thing. Let's not forget that we did hit Sean Spears with the 10 chant.
We did. It was great.
Yeah.
So
I loved it.
And he sold it too, which was even better. And that was on Dark. I think that was on a Dark taping.
When we chanted "You're a lobster" to the butcher too, he laughed about it and had to walk away.
He knew. Dude was so
we were talking about it while we were there. He was like, "Is it really noticeable, guys?" And they were like, "Yeah."
He was looked like my mouth.
He was that color. He was that color exactly.
That poor man had to be in some pain because it looked rough.
He wasn't in pain yet. He'll be in pain. He was in pain. He was in pain on Thursday. He was freshly roasted.
Yes. Yes, he was. But listen, so if you're into that and you guys follow us on the YouTube, slide on over there, check out the vlog. Man, we had a great time.
Yes, we did.
And make sure that you hit that like button, you leave us a little comment. And if you're into it, throw us a subscribe, because I got to feel that Delta variant be damned. I think the three of us are going to try to take in some more wrestling as it comes available to us.
I'm vaccinated, so
I am too. So, you know,
we're vaccinated. So, you know, y'all plague spreaders can just fucking sit at home. We'll go in.
Me and my CDC card are going to some live shows, bitch.
Look, right. if we can sit where we sat because I have a vax card, like sit me there. Here's my card.
I mean, my card. It definitely top-notch fan experience.
Shit, give me a booster on the way in if you're so inclined, right?
Except Tom did lose his knife.
I did. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, that lady.
Yeah, you got to tell the story.
All right. So I have a little bottle opener / like the knife is literally this big it just sits on my keys because I always have my keys on me, and God, I have kids, and something always needs to be open, and rather than I like just go and it's done, right? That's it. This knife, you could stab me with this knife. It probably wouldn't hurt.
It's like a paper cut.
It's like a paper cut knife, and so it's so I have it. I just have it on my keys all the time. I didn't even think about it. I drove to the event. I bought the nice one too. Like I had the one that was brass. It was just starting to patina a little bit.
Patina.
Yeah, patina. It was just starting to patina a little bit, and I walked in, and the very nice lady security guard said, "Wait, what's that?" And I was like, "Oh no, you're not gonna take that." Yep. It's like So I showed her. I'm like, "It's only this big," and she's like, "Nope, doesn't matter. Gimme." So she took it, and I said, "If I see you again on my way out, can I have this back?" And she says, "Yeah, if." Like it was a real like you're gonna have to catch me if you can. I didn't see her, so I lost my. It wasn't expensive. I want to say it was like $17, but still it had like 6 months of patina on it, and like I'm so disappointed. And my keys are so much lighter now than they were. I'm just gonna have to buy another one, but so disappointed. Oh well. They should have at least give me a voucher for beer, right? Like I'm gonna take your knife, but here's a voucher for a beer.
So
that'd have been nice,
right?
If you head on over and you watch the video, you'll see that I included a little something for Tom, and that was a little one-winged angel action.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, that was just for you, pal.
Yeah, sure was. Still the dumbest move. I saw it live. It's still dumb.
So listen. If I had the audio on for that in the video, you could clearly hear Tom go, "It's a dumb move."
It is a dumb move. It's dumb. Look, nobody's gonna let you get up there. Like that's just not. I'm not even gonna get into it. Christian Cage got out of it though.
Yeah. Well, so did what's his nuts from
Andrade?
Yeah.
Idolo?
Well, Andrade didn't get put in the one. Well, he almost did. So let's talk about AAA or TripleMania. You want to talk about TripleMania real quick? Did you guys happen to catch the main event?
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Omega versus Andrade.
Most of it. The end, anyway.
Listen. So we talked about this a little bit before we came in, right? I am not disappointed with how I spent my 34 minutes and 32 seconds. I thought overall, man, that Andrade and Kenny Omega put on a hell of a match. I really did. But it's been reported that AAA wanted to change the title, and Tony Khan said, "No, sir, not today."
Well, of course, they want to change the title on AEW television.
Well, yeah, but so this just kind of lends itself to what Tom and I have been talking about for the last, I don't know, year, that Kenny Omega is the most protected wrestler in the business today.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, John Cena tried to say it's Roman Reigns on Friday night. We'll get into that in a second, too. But it's definitely Kenny Omega because my man should have lost the belt. And got a couple surprises with TripleMania. The living legend himself, Ric Flair, showed up.
I popped me hard. I'm not gonna. So I watched that. I didn't watch that because I gave a shit about Kenny Omega or Andrade really at this point because I really think they flubbed his AEW debut. But Ric Flair went out there. He threw some chops. They were okay. They weren't prime Ric Flair chops, but Andrade was throwing chops too. And then threw a punch. Ric Flair's punch, I'm going to be honest, Ric Flair's punch looked better than a lot of those punches I saw on AEW Dynamite on that Wednesday that we went and saw live. But I was in the scouting position, so I can't say that maybe my seats were better than this guy recording on his cell phone at TripleMania. Although it was real good. Anyway, so and then Ric Flair put that dude into the figure 4. Are you kidding me? Like, look, fucking love Ric Flair. Love him so much. I've met him like twice, and I waited in line both times to meet him. And both times it was like, man, I hate lines, but man, I fucking love Ric Flair. And I just can't. The fact that the man can still do it, because he hasn't been allowed to do it for however long he's just had that WWE exclusive contract. Man, so good. I popped so hard, and it's like I don't want to see him do it every week, because it wasn't like it was clearly just old man getting a pop, but it worked for me.
Listen, I'd be okay if Ric Flair was just a mouthpiece, but like,
sure,
my man walked in there, got his own entrance music, did his little strut. He took away from what the main event was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Andrade versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah,
okay. And we want to talk about something, with Andrade, in AEW flubbing his debut. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, AAA shot Andrade's new entrance so much better than AEW. Like, they definitely had his best interest in mind for that, right?
Well, he's the star. People bought that. Like, people who don't speak English bought that to watch Andrade.
Right. But, Rick come out, and he had his own entrance, and and then Andrade's walking to the ring to Ric Flair's music, and Ric Flair's strutting and doing his thing and being Rick, right? It's like, man, like, this is cool, but you took away from what the attraction of this match was. And a lot of people will say, well, that's not what Rick was trying to do. That's absolutely what Rick was trying to do.
I mean, that's Rick's thing, right?
Yeah, he's here for Rick.
Steal the spotlight.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
He would steal the spotlight from his own children, and he did. He does. He has.
He has. And he did it again on, at TripleMania. And it's just wild to me.
Andrade's not his stepson yet.
Yeah, well, they're close.
And, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wasn't into that. And then, like, it was cool, like you said, the chop spot, and then putting Conan in the figure 4, which he botched, by the way. I don't know if anybody missed that. He missed the leg hook on the first go around. But that's neither here nor there. He's 70 plus years old and can't barely walk. But
he hasn't been allowed to put anybody in a figure 4 in 15 years.
That's true.
And the thing is, dude, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to discount what Ric Flair has meant to the business and or still means to the business.
Oh my God,
I mean,
so much.
Ric Flair is one of the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying?
He probably is. Like, can we just?
He's one of. Okay, so let's just calm down.
Okay.
He's one of. All right.
Okay.
Like, listen, man. We don't need to get into this, okay? Because you got to remember that Rick.
I feel like this is a whole other episode.
Rick played for the other team when he was at his most relevant in his career. And
Rick was
if you didn't live in the South, you didn't really know too much about.
Well, Rick played for the NWA when he was at his absolute most.
I was going to say the NWA years was.
Woo! That was.
He had the good hair.
Oh, he had the best hair. Oh my God! Not that his hair was particularly bad ever, but man, NWA hair, Ric Flair, 70s, late 70s. I didn't watch that till I had a DVD of the NWA, like Ric Flair stuff in like the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001. My dad was like, "You're gonna like this." Oh my God! Like, shout out to my father, by the way. My dad is literally like you wouldn't meet Dave Velto and be like, "Oh man, you're the nerdiest dude," but like he raised the nerdiest kid that like you would ever meet, like me, obviously. Like, yeah. I mean, don't know if you could see everything that's going on in this room, but like my dad indulged my nerdiness to like no extent, probably because he liked it too. He watched it with me. But shouts to my dad for that kind of stuff, because that's the first time I saw high flying, whoa, wheeling dealing. Like that's, God, man, so good. So that's why that's near and dear to my heart, because like my dad and I watched that together. Like just
listen. I know I tweaked your little Ric Flair nerve, pal.
You did. You tweaked it.
And
it's a little tweak. You can see that it's shining through.
And I'm not trying to detract from what Rick has meant to this business. Okay, I'm not, because
You're trying to detract what he means to me. Well,
he means a lot to the professional wrestling business as a whole, and he's going to well past his death. Right, Rick is a legend.
Don't kill Rick, please.
Okay, he will always be a legend.
Roddy's not in hell.
But Rick has always been about number one.
Oh, for sure.
He does, and it doesn't matter who, where, what, when, or why he has flubbed up. Rick is about Ric fucking Flair. Okay? And the fact that he couldn't have just played his role and came out to the ring with Andrade after Andrade took his tuxedo and his mask off, right? Couldn't have just popped out and then walked to the ring and just did his thing, right? We didn't get that. We got a spotlight steal. And quite honestly, we got a spotlight steal on a match that was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched the last 8 or so minutes, and it was. I generally don't try to subject myself to 33 minutes of Kenny Omega match, regardless of who it's against. But it seemed like they put on a banger, and
it was actually very, very well, very, very, very well put together. And Meltzer kind of will shit all over this, and that's because him and Andrade have some personal things going on.
He already did, actually. I saw Andrade tweeted that something about Meltzer giving it not like 3.5 stars or something.
Actually, Meltzer just literally 5 minutes ago just replied to Andrade's tweet, which I thought was really, really funny. But, it's neither here nor there, man. I feel like the match was good, but it was overshadowed by Ric Flair.
I mean, Ric Flair got a pop from me because I saw his entrance. I was excited to see him. I saw the end of it, and I was excited to see all that. And it just, to me, feels like in my head. So I go to like, I've said that the Andrade like reveal and sort of all that stuff was kind of botched in AEW. But man, could you imagine if Ric Flair was his mouthpiece?
He's gonna be.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh my God. Like that's my like
Chavo needs to go bye-bye.
Oh, bye Chavo. Go away. Sorry, Chavo. Although I'll be honest. So when we were at Dynamite, and I think we said this a few times, like how many fucking people are out there? Like this is the most people I've seen outside of a wrestling ring where it's not a lumberjack match or a like Royal Rumble. Like why is the entrance? Why are there so many people? Like it's even
There's
more
so
than
many paydays.
Yeah, that
everybody's
was
gonna get paid.
That was whenever we hit the blade with the "You're a Lobster."
Right, there were like 13 people outside of the ring.
100%.
There were so many like Money Matt, like the Matt Hardy brand. And he brought like 13 people out with like that was like a 3-on-3 tag match, and there were also like 8-9 people on the outside of the ring. It was so much. It was like, what is happening right now? And they really didn't even get involved, right? And then they all went back, and like the bunny came out again, and like there was more people. It was like, what's fucking happening right now? It was just so many people.
There was a lot of people out there.
They really got to chill. They got to dial that back a little bit. There's just too many people outside of the ring. It's like I get that maybe they all want to walk out and watch their friends and like hang out ringside, but good Lord, like
it's a little distracting if I'm being honest.
It's too much. It's so, if I have any criticism of that as a live show, there's just too much going on outside of the ring. And not even that anything's going on. There's just too many people. It just
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of distractions or anything like that. It wasn't like it was
right. And that was the thing, is there weren't they played no factor in the match. Like none of them needed to be there. None of them needed to be there. But there were like 9 people out there.
So I'm anxious to hear Derek's opinion on this. All right, Derek, what is your opinion on Tony Khan putting the Knicks on Kenny Omega dropping the title to Andrade at TripleMania?
I mean, I guess it all just depends on what the end game here is, boys. I mean, if he's got some sort of elaborate plan that for whatever reason all these belts are going to play a factor in such and such angle that's coming up, then you've got a legitimate reason.
Well, there's not all these belts anymore, pal.
Well, I know he did lose 2, on Rampage, which was a great match. It was awesome. I'm pretty sure if Brandon Cutler would have been there to heal him, though, he would have pulled through.
Brandon Cutler got the second largest pop of the night in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Brandon Cutler.
Just throwing that out there.
He did.
But I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. He's the one paying Kenny's salary. He's the one paying him the big bucks, whatever those big bucks are. I don't know.
All right, so I have a thought on this, and this is sort of. God, I can't believe I'm going to agree with Derek a little bit on this. So that hurt a little bit, but Derek, I'm going to kind of agree. I do think that the intent is for Kenny to drop that, just like he dropped the Impact title. I think that the intent is for Kenny to drop that on AEW television, not on AAA. Like, if he's going to drop it to Andrade, it's fine. Andrade can go back to Mexico and he can totally like defend it and be the champ and whatever.
Yep.
And I think that's still going to happen. I think he's totally going to drop it to Andrade, but he's not going to drop it to Andrade on a non-AEW program. He's just not.
Right.
And that's the long and short of it. And whatever belts Kenny collects, ever, I don't think that he's going to drop them on he may collect them on non-AEW programming, but he will not drop them on non-AEW programming. And truthfully, if you're Tony Khan, that's just smart business.
I'm not going to disagree.
And I'm sure that was outlined whenever they first made all their agreements. I'm sure it was just like hey, would you mind if we kind of tweaked this? And he says, no, I would definitely mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like you can put him in a figure 4 after the fact, but he's still going to retain.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys.
So, honestly, guys, all this talk about this is I'm going to have to go check out the TripleMania event.
Yeah, listen, I guess the Lucha Bros retained on night 2. I guess retained the AAA Tag Championships, which is good for them because, I mean, they've only had them for like 10 years. But
no. I never see those on AEW.
They dropped them to the Bucks for a hot minute, and then they dropped them back.
Well, they should come out with them on TV.
It's never happened.
Derek, really, I'm surprised you didn't sit down and watch this match. I mean, if you can get past the Spanish announcing, which took
Derek,
a little while.
You don't speak Spanish fluently?
Yo Tango un gato en Milos pantalones.
What about pants?
Anyway, what do we got? What else we got? We're getting there. Let's wrap it up.
We are getting there. So one thing I want to touch on.
You've touched on lots of things, Walt.
We kind of talked about, touch and go, pal. Hey, we kind of talked about SmackDown a little bit. And for me, the high point was the John Cena Roman Reigns segment. How good was that John Cena promo? Like, that was exactly what I think WWE TV needed.
It said he said he ran Dean Ambrose out of WWE.
Yeah, he did.
Said he said he ruined Seth Rollins' career and ran Dean Ambrose right out of WWE. And then he hit him with the I'm gonna pin you. I'm going to take your belt, I'm going to jump the barricade, and I'm going to run out of Allegiant Stadium as fast as I can, and I might even blow you a kiss on the way out.
Yeah.
Throwing a little reference towards when CM Punk beat him. Man, like what a great segment, and that it's amazing because, we were kind of talking about this a little bit because Roman Reigns had made a comment earlier in the week that, man, I haven't had a script since I came back. And Tom made the comment, it's amazing what happens whenever you give talent a little bit of direction and say, go out there and get over. We get good shit like John Cena and Roman Reigns.
Well,
funny how that works, isn't it?
When you give good talent the ability to get over, it works great. When you give bad talent, it goes real bad. It's really a double-edged sword. It really is, and I'm real glad that they've given Roman, and obviously, he's with John now, and I feel like Edge probably doesn't really have a script either.
Probably not.
Rollins maybe has some bullet points, but that's probably the extent for those tippy top guys. And it's those are the guys to watch though. And Randy Orton probably doesn't have a script either at this point, just because they probably hand him one and he goes, "Yeah, go fuck yourself," because he's Randy Orton, and that's how I would expect him to react to that. But no, totally. I mean, Roman gets over, and John Cena's clearly over. Honestly, John Cena might be more over now than he was when he was a full-time wrestler.
Bro, he had that Tulsa, Oklahoma crowd in the palm of his hand.
Am I wrong? Would they not have booed him 10 years ago?
Yes, 5 years ago.
So what are the odds you boys think we see number 17 at
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I also, the way that they're building the match, I wouldn't put it outside of the realm of possibility either. Because when he looked Roman Reigns dead in the eyes and he said, "Roman, whether you like it or not, you need me." He meant that. And
I do think that I'm sad that there wasn't more Finn Balor on Friday. Am I the only one who brings that up?
His time's coming, pal.
I'm just saying, I'm sad there wasn't more Finn Balor. I really thought they were going to insert him, but maybe they'll still insert him this Friday.
I'm glad that they didn't, though, into this SummerSlam match. I'm being honest with you. I'm glad that they didn't.
I mean, storyline wise, like, what the fuck was this? Like Baron Corbin? I don't understand. I don't get it.
Dude, I love the Baron Corbin segments. They just get better every week as his hair gets longer and more terrible.
Yeah, he just.
I mean, it is, but.
Oh man, him and Kevin Owens this week was good
he's
stuff.
One of those guys that, like, man, I don't know how they got over like watching human suffering, but they did. Like watching him suffer is over, right?
Yes,
like how did they go?
I think it's just because he's been such a shit bag of a heel for the last so many years that people are just like, yeah,
you know, and like heat for so long.
I follow him on. I follow him on Instagram, and like he does a lot of like barbecuing and like smoking, meat smoking. And he's into it, right? And like he will turn anything that he posts onto Instagram into an instant promo. Somebody will be like, "You suck," and he'll be like, "You know what? That's your opinion, but you know what I'm saying?" Like, and he is very active on Instagram, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
I feel like he's one of those guys that's just like, man, we're gonna look back and be like, well, Baron, he's gonna be like, he's gonna be like Rick Rude. We're gonna look back and be like, well, Rick, he never won a title, really. Like he was the United States champion, but like nobody gives a shit about that,
right?
And we're gonna look back and be like, man, how fucking good was Baron Corbin? And it's gonna be like one of those things, almost like Mr. Perfect too, where it's like he never wins a title, but everybody wants to work with him because one, you can work with him every single night. You're never hurt. He never hurts anybody.
Nope.
The man takes care of everybody. His shit looks good. Mm-hmm. It's not like super varied or whatever. He doesn't have to go long, but like he comes out, he cuts a promo, he gets the reaction, he gets baby faces over. Like no baby face is more over than when they're like killing Baron Corbin.
Yep.
And nobody gets bigger boos than when Baron Corbin has a big comeback and maybe gets a win. You know what I mean?
He does his job.
He is the epitome of the guy that does his job, and he doesn't hurt anybody in the process.
And speaking of Baron Corbin, I found this real interesting. He had been quoted as saying, that something along the lines of, he talked to The Undertaker, right? And The Undertaker said, "Hey, man, don't ever let anybody kick out of your finishing move. Like, that's your shit. And like, if you're going to lose a match on a false finish, never let it be your finishing move. So, when when he hits that end of days, it's over, man. Nobody's kicking out of that shit. And I like that old school mentality on that part of it.
That's why he has 2. They can kick out of the deep 6.
Yep. And the deep 6
it's maybe the more impressive move.
It's crispy. It's real crispy.
It's real good. They can kick out of that.
Baron Corbin is a definite underrated talent.
For sure.
All right, guys. Match of the week.
Oh, I have to go first. Shit. Okay.
Thomas.
Shit.
It's all you, buddy.
Tom is Jericho. Actually, I'm going to go with, because we were there, Jericho versus Wardlow. Sorry, everybody.
It was actually a pretty good match, man.
It was what I really hoped it would be. Because, so there's 2 things for me that really solidified the match. One, beforehand, MJF says to Wardlow, yeah, like you took out Cody in the cage, right? Just fucking shitty about it.
Deep cut. Just fucking shitty about it. And then at the end, obviously Jericho did not have that match won, right? Like, Wardlow destroyed him. There were like 7 power bombs that Jericho took stiff. And Wardlow controlled the whole match. It was a squash, but Wardlow just kept beating the tar out of him. But then Jericho gets a bat and gives him the bat shot. AEW does a little bit more solid headshots than WWE, but not crazy. It wasn't quite a bang. No, it was very Triple H with a sledgehammer looking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
but it worked, and it knocked him. It knocked him goofy, and he got 1, 2, 3. Wardlow, to be fair to Wardlow popped up shortly after that. It didn't hurt him bad enough that oh my God, I need to go to the hospital, but it hurt him to the extent of yeah, he could pin me for 3. So yeah, no, that was my match of the week. I just felt like it really worked on a lot of levels, mostly because Jericho got to lay there a lot. Wardlow just beat the tar out of him, and Jericho got to lay around.
Yeah,
Wardlow looks. I mean, God, the guy is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the next Dave Bautista.
Seeing him in person, bro. Whew.
He's
big boy.
He's the next Dave Bautista. I've seen Bautista not in person, face to face, but in a show. I've been to shows that Dave Bautista has been to, and he's the next Bautista, and it was a good match, and that's what stuck in my head the most. So that's got to be my match of the week.
Hey, and sidebar on that, right? There's fan experiences that you'll just never ever forget, and doing the Judas sing along.
That's so fun, right?
On the Chris Jericho entrance.
What have I become?
Is probably one of the best fan experiences I've ever had.
Like I said,
it's so fun.
Gotta get that. Gotta get that in the. I mean, they do a good job, I think, showing how much fun that is, because that's fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Derek, match of the week, pal.
So 2 things. This isn't my match of the week, but I want to point it out because we haven't talked about it, and I think it deserves to be. How great. Hold on, let me make sure I get which one it was. All right. Dante Martin of Top Flight, whenever he came out for the opening match against the Elite, his segment with Kenny Omega. Holy shit, this boy has moves. He did awesome.
Yeah.
Let's
springboard Hurricane Rana from inside the ring to the outside of the ring on Kenny. It was on hard cam side, so we were behind it and we didn't get to see it, but it was spectacular from our seats. But when I watched it back, man, it was crisp.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Olympic gymnasts being good at what they do? Good God, this man.
And Tom and I are not high fly flippy dippy guys, and we were into.
Well, he's not a little guy either.
No, he's lanky.
Yeah, he's much bigger than Nick and Matt, and people that you expect from.
Lean, he's lean, but he's not a little guy. He is a big, tall guy who is just. I mean, and not only does his stuff look crisp, it looks like it hurts.
Yeah,
because he's got a lot of Velveteen Dream kind of, but a little more agile. I think.
Yes.
I like that.
I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison.
So, and I mean, that shit's over for me. So, no, I mean, I think he's going places for sure. He needs to keep that up and, not get in trouble, obviously.
If anybody, if anybody got over on Wednesday night, it was Dante Martin.
Although they did make him take the fucking.
Yeah, he did take the loss with the one winged angel.
No, yeah, he took the fucking one winged
with the
angel.
triple with the triple V trigger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did get that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's the price you got to pay if you want to do flippy doos on Kenny
That's
Omega.
it. That's it. I mean, it is what it is. Derek, what's your match of the week, though, pal?
So, match of the week, and this is going to be a surprise to you fellas, I'm sure, but I'm going to go with Apollo and Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC title on SmackDown.
It was a
good match.
It was a solid match. I didn't expect there to be a title change at all, honestly. And Apollo put up a hell of a frog splash attempt, which Shinsuke, of course, put the knees up, but still, the dude got ups on that one. It was awesome. But yeah, overall.
Not to mention Pat McAfee, Rick Boogs, and Shinsuke celebrating. McAfee is a national treasure. I say it week after week.
He truly is.
He's a Pittsburgh original, boys. The world's better because Pittsburgh is a thing. I'm just saying.
I'll agree with that. So, Derek, that all you got?
Yeah.
Okay, so my match of the week was from A Dark Elevation. Serpentico and Sammy Guevara.
Because they killed Mark Madden?
Simply because they killed Mark Madden.
Did you hear him put you bet on the radio?
No, I didn't.
Oh, no, hold on then before you talk about the match. So, Mark Madden says, and he did the whole next day show, because it was the whole show. He's talking about he was at AEW and he hung out with Chris Jericho. And
I sent you guys the picture from Jericho's hotel room.
Yeah, I saw that. That's he talked about that mostly, but he brought it up to where he saw Luther about to throw Sammy Guevara into
headbutt.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. No, that's a great match. That was also one of the other best matches. But he talked about how he was about to see Sammy get thrown into the barricade that he was sitting front row in front of, and those aren't, down or anything. And he says, "Oh, it'll be all right. Whatever. Sammy's $180. It'll be okay." But Sammy reverses it and throws Luther, who's like 400 pounds of man, right into Mark Madden's knees. And Madden says, "I'm a bit bruised up and yada yada today, and I'm absolutely going to sue Tony Khan because he's a billionaire, and that's what you do." But it was a great show nonetheless. And it was just, oh my God, we had the perfect, nobody could, I wish we would have got that on film. It was so perfect. But anyway, sorry.
He was salty as shit. That's not really my match of the week. I just want to take a jab at Mark.
Oh, it was so fun. It was so good.
My match of the week was actually Andrade versus Kenny Omega at TripleMania.
Yeah, I figured.
I was into it, man. Outside of AAA needing to get a little bit of a better depth of field on their ringside cameras, because we were getting titties up and we missed a lot of action. Man, I thought they put on a really, really great match, and Kenny and Andrade had a real great little bit of good chemistry out there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that in AEW, whether it be for the AAA belt or for the AEW championship, regardless. It was a really, really good match. Also, honorable mention has to go to Christian Cage and Kenny Omega, which was another just stellar match.
Christian still got it.
Christian definitely still got it.
So the thing I liked about that match the most is that all that pointing bullshit that Kenny Omega does, every time he did that, that sort of revitalized Christian, and he would reverse whatever Kenny tried to do after showboating. And it would be fucking devastating to Kenny every time. And that's something that I really like. And it played into the finish too, when Kenny was doing the pointing thing and the Bucks threw the chair in, and then Kenny ended up taking the
unprettier
or whenever he took the kill switch on the
Kill switch. That's what it is now. Because it was an impaler. Was it? No, the impaler was the unprettier.
But yeah, that finish was amazing.
Loved it.
It was a good match. Great match. So my two top matches of the week were both Kenny Omega matches. So write that down because that'll probably be the last
write
time.
this down. Yeah, this is
never happening again.
All right, guys. Well, hey man, let's just get this out there. Man, I had a great time on Wednesday with you guys, and looking forward to getting a chance to get back out there and do some other things and go see some more wrestling.
Do it again. One more time.
Hell yeah.
One more time.
So,
and then after that, one
plan for sure.
Yeah, it was good. Great time. I'm glad we got
to drag our corpses to those shows.
Glad we got to do that shit. Yeah. So, if you're watching us on YouTube, you know that we exist. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, while you're here, head on over, check out the vlog from Dynamite. We had a blast, and I think, like I said earlier, I think that it translates very well into that video how much fun we really had. If you're listening to us on the audio side, come on over, check us out on YouTube. You know, Derek and I and Tom, we're looking to be a little bit more active. I think that's kind of the conversation that we're having. Check us out on the new Facebook page, One Fall WrestleCast. We're working on building that up right now, and we're going to start throwing some content on there real soon. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram at @1_Fall WC. That's ONE. And, you know, audio folks, we appreciate you. We really, really do. And, you know, keep hanging in there with us, guys, because we're just going to keep on churning this shit out. With all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.
Okay, bye.